So I don't have any of my cards with me today. I've been sitting outside for a little while, and then I'm going to go in a minute and try to do some documentation. But I do have a couple of the guidebooks from a couple of my card decks, because I have been working on translating a reading that I did, because I'm not as familiar with these two decks. The Barbieri Zodiac Oracle, that is by Barbara Moore, and then the Starcodes Astro Oracle by Heather Rones Robbins. So I'm just going to flip through and pick a couple. Both of my grandmothers wore red lipstick. My maternal grandmother, she was born in 1918. All of my grandparents have passed. And her husband, my grandfather, he was also born in 1918. He fought in World War II. My understanding is he was a medic in the army. He actually was on the beach in Normandy. There was a lot of stress and turmoil that created for him in life. And of course, my grandmother, this strong woman who raised, I want to say she carried 7 children. There were 6 that were born, and she raised them. Very strong generation of people. And then even with my paternal grandparents, my pawpaw, he was, I want to say, Army as well. I think he was stationed in Panama. He and my Nana were young when they eloped. And she's my Nana was a very strong woman who raised 4 children on her own for quite a bit of time, and red was kind of her signature color. So I'm kind of stepping into embodying, whenever I wear red, I feel connected to my grandmothers quite a bit. And also when we think of the red lip and the symbol that it created during World War II, Hitler hated red lipstick. And so there were many women who wore red lipstick in an act of defiance. So we'll just leave that out there. All right. So what I had opened it up to is 26, Neptune vision. Like a cool blue pearl floating in an inky sea, this planet symbolizes how we float in the ocean of the collective consciousness. Neptune, the modern ruler of Pisces, takes about 165 years to tour the zodiac. On a practical level, it signals water, liquids, oils, and art supplies. On a challenging day, it shows how we avoid gritty reality. A lot of that going on right now. Whether we escape through our imagination, addictions, or martyrdom. A lot of that going on too. A lot of escapism, conflict avoidance, different things like that. On a lovely day, this is a very windy day, but as you can see, it's a very lovely day. Neptune speaks of spirituality, imagination, and psychic perception. This is important because we need to be focused not on the fear, not on the negativity, not on all this stuff that's just floating around us, but tuning in. This has been the message quite a bit in my readings or just ramblings, whatever you want to call them. But focusing in on that spirituality, imagination, that visualization, that connecting with yourself, could be meditations, and psychic perception. We all of us, it is part of our survival skills. I don't know how many times I've said this, have intuition. Some of us are more in tune to it. Some of us, because of our personality or life experiences or whatever it is, we are more connected and we take in more information. And we don't just accept things at face value. And if it feels uncomfortable, we don't just say, but this person's an authority figure. Now, even when we look at psychology, look up the Henry Milgram studies. If you want to look at what happens in the world when there is somebody who seems like they're an authority and they are very demanding, and you don't feel like somebody could get you to do things that would be out of your character and you would never do, look up the Henry Milgram studies. Henry Milgram is the reason why people are debriefed after studies now, why they have to be done more ethically than they were in the past. I'm not going to go off on a tangent telling you the story of it, but if you think people wouldn't go so far, even respectable people, as to do something that could potentially harm to the point of death someone else, look up the Henry Milgram studies. Anyone who's taken even probably basic psychology will know what I'm talking about. But if you're not familiar with it, just go ahead and look it up. All right, so here's the action we're being called to. Pray, meditate, intuit, use your divination, rest and dream. Activate the right side of your brain and step out of the sequential logic into sense of the infinite. Because there's way more than what's just right in front of you. Things that seem logical are not always what's going on. And things that seem incredibly illogical and crazy, sometimes that's the reality. And it's hard for very left-brained people who don't have a balance between the two to see that there's more than what's right in front of them. Look up quantum physics. Watch What the Bleep. Marley, I can't remember her last name, beautiful actress, but What the Bleep is a fictional story, but it goes through a woman's journey into this whole rabbit hole of quantum physics, because in school, we learned that everything is energy, everything is made of atoms, protons, neutrons, electrons, all of those things. We have energy, we share energy, but this goes a lot further, kind of like may break your mind kind of stuff. But anyway, so yes, activate the right side of your brain and step out of the sequential logic into a sense of the infinite. Keep that in mind. Engage ceremony and ritual, whether that's prayers, whether that's church, whether that's spiritual meditation, whether that's learning, whether that's connecting with a divine, whatever that is, do it. Whether that's even tapping into your higher self, doing some automatic writing or streams of consciousness. I keep saying these things, but it's still coming through. All right. Find a dream or vision and bring it back here to manifest. Focus on the things you want, not the things you don't want. Because Neptune invokes both intuition and imagination. It can blur the boundaries between the two. Intuition and imagination. What you want. Even in psychology, we talk about self-fulfilling prophecy. If you want something enough, or if you fear it enough, and you're so focused on it that your mind is just focusing on the things, you consciously or subconsciously begin to do, say, or act certain ways, or believe certain things that create the situation that you are trying to avoid or that you want. You have way more power than you realize. But we're going to keep going. It's all too easy to believe that what you want or what you are afraid of is in fact reality, which can make it easy for others to manipulate you by playing to your hopes and fears. It's going on right in front of you guys right now. Pay attention to it. There are people or a person who doesn't know what they're talking about and who says things that are bold statements even when they aren't even accurate, and says them in such a way that people cheer and believe that person without even doing their own research. And I try to not get into various things when it comes to doing my readings and whatever, but at the same time, and I just flipped through and saw this page, and then I'd even closed the book, and I was like, well, let me open it again. And it opened to the same page. This message is supposed to come through. And maybe the reason I'm being pushed to keep saying these things is because hopefully for at least some people, it opens your mind. You start thinking, whoa, that might be true. So understand that it's all too easy. I'm going to repeat that sentence again too. It's all too easy to believe that what you want or what you are afraid of what you are afraid of is in fact reality, which can make it easy for others to manipulate you by playing to your hopes and fears. Today is 3/5/25. There was a speech given yesterday evening. This action 100% happened. There was even inaccurate information shared, and people cheered. And it was really ridiculous too. Tell me about transgendered rats? No. Those rats were part of a study to actually help with things like genetics and illness and things like that. But you're so afraid of people being themselves and what that means for you or your children or anybody else that isn't even real and isn't even true, that you clapped. They were like, yes! Playing to your hopes and fears. When I picked up this book, I don't have anything bookmarked. You can see there's nothing on this page. I turned it to this page. I saw the 26 Neptune. I closed the book. When I opened it again, I wasn't sure if I was going to get the same page, but I did. 26 Neptune. The theme being vision. We're going to keep going. Take each step with care. I keep saying that. Working with Neptune is like walking in the fog. You can see the present moment clearly. It's just the future and the past that get lost in the hopes and the fears. If you live in that mindset of fear, you're going to constantly feel like there are things to be afraid of. It's true. If the world feels too harsh, or if you're feeling easily overwhelmed, tend to your sensitive antenna. If it feels too harsh, or it feels overwhelming, tend to your sensitive antenna. Stop looking at all the things around you. Stop watching the news outlets, the posts and things that are very negative, and start tuning in to yourself. Pray rather than worry. Absolutely. Pray rather than worry. Neptune speaks of our psychic permeability, encouraging us to soak up our surroundings. This is where I keep saying pay attention. I'm going to need people to open their eyes and pay attention. And it's not just what you can see. It's what you feel. It's what you sense. It's what you hear. You don't have to be someone who identifies as a medium, a psychic, an empath, an intuitive, to tap into that intuition, to read between the lines, to do your own research. You don't need to be any of those things. You just got to look, see, sense, feel. You just got to pay attention. And I'm usually not this forceful, but whew, I feel it coming through in here. All right, let's get back to where we were, because I only have a few more minutes now. Yes, so Neptune speaks of our psychic permeability, encouraging us to soak up our surroundings. Use that to your advantage and choose your surroundings carefully. That includes people that you're surrounding yourself with, TikTok videos you're watching, media outlets that you're watching, music that you listen to, the words of others, all those things. Meditate with a group. So you can meditate with a group. But be sure that the message that you're focusing on is something that doesn't promote that fear. It promotes unity. It promotes action. It promotes a sense of, we've got this. Tune into the trees. I'm all about earth energy. I have hugged a tree. I will be honest with you. The earth beneath, if you've even paid attention to research, science has actually talked about and shown that the energetic, the magnetic fields, the energy of the earth does help to regulate our bodies. Take your shoes off if you're able. Go outside and stand in the grass. Ground yourself with the earth. Do something in nature. The sky above are sacred sites. Immerse yourself in whatever feeds you. Things that lift you up. Things that make you feel renewed and refreshed. Get off the phone. Challenge. Neptune overwhelm can turn into acceptance. Oh, let me try that again. So the challenge is Neptune overwhelm can turn acceptance into passivity. You're going to accept it and just be passive. Imagination into illusion. Your fears coming to life. The things that you fear now becoming what you see, whether it's there or not, but also ignoring those fears because you think, oh, this illusion, somebody's going to make it better. It's all going to get better. This can't be what's going on. Surely it's going to get better. Sensitivity and the hunger for spirit into addiction. Watch for water damage. Be careful of what it is that you're using as a distraction or a way to avoid whatever it is that you're avoiding, because that will become your addiction, your way to try to ease the overwhelm and everything that doesn't actually work. It just puts you in a worse situation. Now, the gift of this is allowing yourself to float, to swim in that great ocean of the collective consciousness. Soak up the presence of the divine soul. There is no separation between you and all sentient beings. All sentient beings. That includes that which is around us, not just humans. Keep that in mind. So there is no separation between you and all sentient beings, between you and the realms of God and of spirits. Call in your divine. For me, it's my big four: God, my angels, my guides, and my ancestors. For you, it may be something else. And if you don't believe in any of those things, call on your higher self. Look inward and think about how you really want to be and what you really want to see. I've got to get going. But that was a powerful message from this Starcodes Astro Oracle by Heather Roan Robbins. Neptune. Number 26. We can break it down to an 8. I'm wearing my green. Realize I'm in a very heart chakra energy today. Lean into that heart chakra. Lean into that healing. Let go of the fear. And figure out what is going to be the best action for you to take right now. You've got this. You don't need somebody telling you what to do. You already know. You already know how you feel. You already know what feels best for you. Stop following the crowd. All right. Take care.